Hey, Fused community, listen, we are talking about how do we know? How do we know if he or she is the one? We're actually taking it from the male perspective, and you're going to see that sometimes Michael and I have different viewpoints, and we want to hear from you and know what you think. Who do you think is right? Who do you think is wrong? Is it Tristin or Michael? We got to know what you think. So check us out on today's episode. Let's talk about it. Thank you for tuning in. We are Tristin and Michael, and you are listening to Fused, transparent conversations for marriage, family, and relationships. We invite you to join us as we discuss topics that are thought about but not talked about. So tell your friends and family to check us out, and check us out on all of our social platforms as well as our website, fusedmarriages.com.
Good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever. I don't know if you're watching in South Africa, Australia, New Zealand, America.
Right.
Could be anywhere. But I'm just saying hello, everybody. My name is Michael Colter.
You may... Okay.
I'm just introducing myself. It's okay.
Hey, do you, boo?
How y'all doing?
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all. All right. So I've already said hi. So I'm glad you were.
Absolutely.
You were able. So we have a topic today that I'm curious to hear your take and y'all's take on this one. So make sure that you comment and share, and of course, carry on these conversations in your community. So our conversation for today is, how will I know? And you said in parentheses, future wives. Talk to us.
This topic here is for all the future wives, women that want to be wives.
Okay.
And the idea is like, you want to know if your man, your future husband, really loves you, right? And I'm going to give my male point of view, some insights, some nuggets. You know, fellas, don't be mad at me if you kind of playing some other side of stuff. But either way, the women will know. They'll know exactly if their man really loves them.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm being bold with it.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you ready to start?
I'm ready to start. So, with that being said, right, there's, you know, I'm a product of the 80s and the 90s. You what? You 2000, 2020?
Funny. Funny.
That was kind of funny. Sorry.
That's fine.
But with that being said, there's an artist that kind of sparked this idea to start, right? And it's the late, great Whitney Houston. I'm going to play just a little tidbit. She had a song that she sang, and it just was a real amazing song. And I'm going to turn this, a little snippet. Just a little bit. That's what she's saying. That's all we get. How will
I know if he really loves me? Okay. That's all you get.
Okay, we not singing. I thought we were going to do a little karaoke, y'all, but we not really, you know. Hopefully you two don't flag us for playing Whitney Houston. You know, we only played about 5
I like
10
how
seconds.
you said you introduced her like people didn't know who Whitney Houston was.
Well, it depends what generation we're talking to. May not.
Every generation should know.
They should, but they may not. So I had to really just
Steady
kind of
up.
at least, yeah, one of the greatest singers ever.
Yeah. Okay. So you played that for us.
Yeah.
Telling us how do we know? I guess it's a question that really is prevalent. Like, people really want to make sure that they're making the right choice when they're choosing their spouse. And I'm curious to hear, since this is kind of the male perspective, or at least giving us some insights about how can we be sure, because none of us go into marriage wanting to be like, I'm on my way back out. We want to make the right choice. Can
I preface it a little bit, right?
Okay.
Just what you just said, because I want to get the framework of why we having this conversation, right? Because I believe, and I think we believe, like, men have the option to select and propose, right?
Okay.
There are some women that may have proposed.
Yeah.
Not knocking that if women have done it. Traditionally, men have been in the position where they selected, and the women had the option to say yes or no to that.
Sure.
Right. So, but in order to say yes or no, you really want to know if this man really loves you, as Whitney Houston sang in the song and was we're talking about. Right. Does your man, is he all in for you and what you want to build and what you want to have? And a lot of times someone are confused. They may not know.
Yeah.
They may have questions like, I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
And we got some indicators that will help point you in that direction.
Okay, so you gave this a subtitle that I want to hear. Like, I want to hear what you have to say about this. This subtitle we gave this is, it doesn't take 5 years to know.
Yeah, I did say that. I did write that, and I do believe that. Not saying, some of y'all been dating for 5 years. Mm-hmm. I'm not trying to say nothing wrong with your relationship. If you may be pursuing it at a different pace. So this is maybe not an all inclusive.
So you're saying that they should know before that 5 year mark?
Absolutely. Every man knows before 5 years.
So what's the holdup? For some of the ladies have been waiting. They say, I'm just waiting. Is that another whole nother show?
That's a whole nother show. I mean, to dig into what's the holdup, that's a whole nother show.
Okay.
I think the main takeaway is what I'm going to express. It doesn't take 5 years. It doesn't take 5 years.
So if he says he's not sure yet, he lying.
It doesn't take it.
I can tell you lying.
Yeah, he may have reason and can explain the reason and why.
Why? But he can explain why you're not married yet, not if he's not sure yet.
There you go. Come on now.
All right, number one. You only really have three key points.
It's three. It's gonna be it's key indicators.
Key indicators.
Key indicators.
You better use all that engineering language.
That's what it is.
All right.
Indicators.
Your first one says he is not afraid of your failures.
So this is one. I think this is a big one, right? Because if a man looks at you and he's judging you from the standpoint of what you have gone through or what you have been through and kind of looking at him, maybe holding it against you, like, I can't believe you did that, or you dated him, or you got this, whatever have you. That's a sign that, you know what, that makes you want to question, does he really love me? Because really how I got to me that he's even interested in, I had to go through that. And without that, I might not be who I am today that you like. Yeah.
Yeah. That's big. Mm-hmm. That's a big. I think that goes both ways. But
absolutely.
Yeah. And I think that I think a lot of people. Well, I don't know, but I think I was going to say something else. But I think that sometimes we hold our own failures against ourselves and against our future. Like we say, like, okay, he wouldn't love me if. So then there's like kind of this withholding, or maybe she wouldn't love me if. And I think talking about those failures, and one I can think of really clearly that people have come and talked to us about when we do premarital is finances. Like, oh man, I got into debt. I didn't handle my finances well, or I didn't mind my credit. I wasn't paying attention. They're not going to want to be with me. And I think it's worth a conversation. Like, okay, what do we need to do to get back on track? How can we remedy this? But I think sometimes those things happen where it's like, man, I failed in this area. Another one can be sexually. Like, okay, how many partners, or do you have children? I think some of those things can really cause people to be concerned if somebody would pursue them.
And you just maybe sparks an idea, thought, not even idea, it's a thought when you said how many sexual partners. If a man asks a woman that, anything more than one is going to be too much for him. So there's no right answer for that. If he asks, how many guys you've been with, just tell me, I just want to know. Do not tell him.
Oh, don't say that. Then
look at me in my face. Do not tell him. Anything more than one is gonna make him feel a certain way about it.
Is the guy gonna just come out and ask that? Like, how many sexual partners have you had?
Some guys may have done. Some women can. I don't know.
Is that like a negative?
I personally have not done that. But I know guys that have.
I mean, we've had conversations.
And when you hear that, when you hear the number, anything's gonna be shocking if it's more than one.
Because he wants to think he's the only one in the world.
3, 3, and you 45. Like, hold on, man. Like, well,
this is going way off.
It is.
This is a whole. This is a whole other conversation. But yes, yeah. I don't know if I would tell people not to tell their partner.
Don't do.
I'm just, my point is,
do not tell him the number.
I can't co-sign on that one, but my challenge is, I think that people would be concerned if they would love them if. I think it's important for you to be fully transparent, because a lot of stuff about me that's rather uncomfortable.
Some stuff needs to go with you whenever you're gone from this earth, and let that be. Move on from that. It's gone. You're not doing that no more. To expose everything.
We did say that this is his perspective. This is not shared.
It's dangerous.
Okay, let's keep moving. Because we can definitely stay stuck there. Okay, you're trying to help somebody. All right. All right. Well, there you go. Two different perspectives, but we still agree that it is important to have these discussions so that you know, or
absolutely
don't know, whatever you said. Okay.
Yes.
You said male perspective. Okay. Number 2, he is not afraid of your success. We just talked about failures, success.
This is a big one because if you look at the day-to-day, and I don't have it in front of me, I should have. I should have researched and I didn't. But I know there's a lot more women going to college and getting degrees and getting advanced degrees than there are men. There are a lot more women having businesses, having their own businesses, startup businesses, running businesses than men. So the likelihood of a man running into a woman that's like, you know what, she might got you, man, in the pocketbook. You can't be afraid of that. You can't even be afraid of the potential of that, right? Of like, oh man, you know what? I don't know if I want to, be with her, this, that, and the other. She make more money. If he gives that kind of little indication, like, hey, why are you going back to school? Why you over here? You working a lot. Like, not that you working a lot, ain't neglecting the home, but you show like you love that job too much. They try to play the words of like you working too much because they see your level of success as a threat to them. Not necessarily. It's like, hey, you know what? You neglecting the family, the kids, me, this, that, and the other. It'll come across like you just giving that job more attention than you giving them. In reality, they may be fearful, like, hey, you know what? What if she happened to go be the CEO of this company?
Why would he be fearful of that?
Because in our mind as a man, we're thinking we're like, okay, we're supposed to be the provider. We're trained to be that, like, you know what? I'm supposed to be the breadwinner, this, that, and the other. But times have changed where, women are doing things just as well as men in the business world. And that thinking will kind of mess you up if you kind of stuck in saying, like, you know what? The only way I can run my house is because I'll make the most money. Not because I got the most insight, not because I'm the most forgiving, not because I got the most love, but because I have the most money, I can run my house. And then when I don't, oh man, I guess I ain't a man no more. So the redefining, not saying you can't be a lazy man and not work, but like, hold on, y'all can tag team this thing.
Yeah.
Let's go at it together.
I think that really speaks to kind of like almost a spirit of competition. If you think that your spouse or your future spouse is trying to compete with you, like almost this comparison game. I'm thinking of a movie that I won't say the title, but you had it on the other day. And in this scene, if I talk too much about the movie, people are going to figure it out. But there's this scene where the lead female, she gets this opportunity to go to this school to play basketball. And as she's having her moment and she's looking at her offer letter, her castmate or her, the other person in the scene says, yeah, I got one too. Instead of almost letting her have that, like, wow. What'd you say?
That's good observation. Yeah. No, that's good observation.
Like, instead of her letting her have that, like, wow, like this thing happened for me. It's like he had to jump in and say, yeah, I did too. And instead she started celebrating, even though this is a script, this happens in life. She started celebrating his moment. Like, oh man, that's great. Congratulations. So it turned from her having the opportunity to read her offer letter and be excited and have that moment to now having to turn her attention to him. And that's a really small moment, but I think that can encapsulate this kind of competitive spirit that just being aware of, like, okay, every time you have a win, do they have to talk about their win? Every time you come home, man, something great happened. I had a great day too. Or you're not going to ask me about my day, something that happens, like, oh, I have this opportunity, or, hey, I'm going to go out with my girlfriends. Well, it's been a long time since I've been going out with my guys, I guess, but yeah, you can go ahead and go. That kind of, that almost like, okay, now we're at odds, I think can speak to potentially some challenges that you might have in your relationship because they're not willing to celebrate your wins. They're possibly intimidated by your successes.
I love how you said that because we were looking at the question or the statement that we have, he's not afraid of your success. And I would put almost a part B to that, or he has the spirit of competition between you two. And that's a very thing what you describing. I'm like, man, that's dangerous because if only way I can be happy is I got to like kind of one up you, man, that's to me, I wouldn't want to build a relationship on that. Yeah. I would never advise my daughters, anybody else that I know to say, you know what? Yeah, that's a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah. You want a partner that not only wants you to win, but like is excited when you do, that they see it almost as them winning too. Like, hey, if you win, and we believe this, and there are, I think, successful couples believe that if their spouse wins, it's a win for both of us. We both earned this. We both got this degree. Like, it might have your name on it, but we partnered in this thing. We both started this business. We both, raised these kids. This is a partnership. And I think that if you don't have that, then you really miss out fundamentally, you miss out on real love.
Right.
But I think that as you were kind of talking about that, afraid of your success is just a big deal. And it can come out in passive aggressive or aggressive ways. So just paying attention to them.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. Okay, number 3. He believes his life is better with you than without you.
We're trying to give indicators, right, of if the man you're thinking about marrying, saying yes to, really, really loves you. If he cannot see himself without you, right? In his mind, he's like, you know what? I just can't. I don't care where I'm at, what job I have or don't have or do have. I just can't see myself without you. Whatever I have and whatever I'm doing, I want to do it with you. Mm-hmm. That should be the heart posture of this man.
Yeah.
If it's the opposite that looks like, it's like, well, I'm trying to see what's going to happen over here with this situation. And then we can kind of maybe figure out, once I get this straight over here, we can kind of maybe piece this together, how we going to do what we going to do. Mm-hmm. Like, why is that situation weighing more than what we're talking about building a lifetime with? Mm-hmm. And like, so you're saying this job is a lifetime more? You know what? Maybe it's your family. Is that weighing more? Right, of pulling you away from me, because ideally, like we family goes away. We know that. Mm-hmm. I'll say that. Let me say, be careful with that. At some point, you and your
dynamics
change, and you and your, as a husband and wife, you start building your own family environment, your own culture, your own just idea of what the family should be. Yeah. Not to say you're turning your back on your family, but it just becomes something different. Right, and you may take some pieces from both families, but it's typically not just like, hey, you're gonna just mold into mine. I'm just gonna mold into yours. It shouldn't be that way unless somebody didn't necessarily have something to build on. Yeah. Right. So
I think, and I want to give an example of what this could look like, and then we can kind of talk about that. You were talking about family. And one of the examples that's come up, because, we're a blended family and we talk a lot to blended families. Yeah. But I've heard before people say, well, let's wait until the kids get older and we'll see. So if you have, let's say you're blending and the person that you're looking at marrying might have kids. Well, let's see what that looks like later on. Wait till they graduate high school and then we'll talk. That sort of, okay, I'm putting you off. Not necessarily, they might not necessarily overtly say, hey, let's do this instead of this. I'm putting you on the back burner. But there are those signs that you can kind of look towards, like, okay, am I important? Am I valuable? Are they wanting to just kind of move along without me, or to keep you in a certain lane? Like, okay, you're great to, well, not to be crass, but okay, you might be great to sleep with, you might be great to kind of hang out with, but when it comes to building life, nah, you're not really a part of the decisions. You might not really be a part of that. And it also depends on what stage you are in the relationship. But we're assuming that if you're considering marriage, then you're far enough along to know that this is somebody that you want to spend time with and that you want to spend your life building and growing with. And you would think that they would be considering the same, but these are just, I think, some ways to really tell when you're talking about family and when you're talking about children. Another way is when you start talking about finances. Michael started talking to me very early on in the finances, and I had to be honest with him and say, okay, I'm willing to talk about this, but I'm not comfortable with it. I don't really like it. So you're going to have to be patient. But it wasn't like, nah, this is mine, that's yours. We don't ever have to talk about this, because I knew we were going in a certain direction. Yeah. So being willing to say, I'm not all the way there yet, where he's like, okay, here's my accounts, here's this. I'm not there yet, but I'm willing to engage in those dialogues so that by the time we get to the point of marriage, it's something that I'm far more comfortable with, because I know it's something that's going to be important for a foundation for our future.
No, that's good. That's beautiful. That's a great example for one. It's particularly about the finances piece and kind of navigating those dynamics. And I think I think what you said, it takes time sometimes for really people to come to an understanding of what it looks like, right? So the idea is that they see their life better. It may not be like, oh, instant, like, oh, I see my life better, but it may say, okay, show me some pieces first. I got some trust things I got to build out. I got some things I'm still trying to develop in my own headspace. But ultimately, I do see myself better with you than without.
And I also want to point out that it's important that you see your life better with them too. Like that you want that, because what can happen, and I won't stay too long in this, but there can be this kind of superhero thing. Like, yes, I'm making them better. I'm going in, I'm saving the day. They needed me. It's nice to feel needed. I'm helping them with ... But is there a level of reciprocity? Because I think sometimes you can get stuck in the I'm helping them and I'm giving to them and I'm helping their, if they have children, hey, I'm helping, I'm investing, I'm baking cupcakes or whatever it is that you do. Okay, well, I'm in his house, I'm cooking. If he wasn't cooking before, I can cook. I'm showing my worth as a wife or a wife to be. And then there's, what are you getting on the other side of that? So is there enough that not just that you're giving, but that you're also receiving? Because what can happen is that after they see your worth and all of that, they feel good. They feel like, hey, I got a good thing here. She's good with my kids, or, I use the kids example because we're blended, but whatever the thing is that's in yours, oh man, my family likes her. She's good. But then you end up in a one-sided relationship, and it's really not his in this example. It's not his fault if you never required anything of him before you got married. If there wasn't, hey, these are the things that I'm looking for. I see you as a part of my life. I know we can grow together. These are the ways that we can grow. What do you think about these? So having those conversations in not just what do I offer you, but what do you think you offer me? What are you giving to me? How do you think that you're investing in our relationship? Because that's really how you can say, man, I can't see my life without this person, because they're investing in me in so many great and amazing and honorable ways, and I'm investing in them. So pulling that apart is more than just like, all right, peace, What?
No, I just wanted, because you made the statement, and I want to assume, but you said you were speaking from a future wife perspective that that they can't see their life without him, right? That what you were kind of referencing?
I think
or was it the other way? You're saying the husband?
Well, I'm saying from her perspective, if she's giving and she's not, there's nothing on the other side of that, then she can get kind of stuck in this superwoman where she's sweeping in, she's saving the day, where he might see her as a great partner, but she'll be worn out in a year if there's nothing that he's giving back to her.
No, 100% agree. And I think that's why even from the last point being, he believes his life is better with her than without, right? His idea, like, he can't see himself without her. And because one thing I've learned and seen and witnessed is like it's impossible to outgive a woman, I believe. So us as men, we got to be so intentional with what we give and what we do and the love we share, because
help them.
Because we because it's like it's not, I don't think like the level of give and love that y'all have, the capacity is like 10x ours, and we got to know that. Say, okay, you know what? I got to go find some dates. We got to go watch Fantasia. I got to go out and do some stuff, right? To kind of like, okay, because you constantly giving to me. And if I don't intentionally pause, say, okay, hold on. My little bit ain't going to measure to her a lot, but I got to stop chipping at that thing and keep at it. So otherwise, it'd be too far off balance, what you just mentioned there. So. Yeah,
thank you for that. And you do a great job. And these are just a couple pointers, some things to consider when you're looking at, how do I know? How do I know if he really loves me, as Whitney Houston saying. But we appreciate you guys for listening. We hope that you continue these conversations. And it's just an open door. Whether we see it the same or not, we should be having these dialogues. It's important for your marriage, for your community, and for your family. So thank you for joining us, and make sure that you check out more content and resources on all of our handles, as well as our website, fusedmarriages.com. Let's talk about it.